Darkness stirs, and whispers of an ancient goddess echo through time. Fire feared as the queen of witches, yet worshipped as a benevolent guide, Hecate is a paradox, both terrifying and beloved. Crescent moon, guardian of crossroads, mistress of magic, and keeper of the underworld, her presence lingers in shadows, but why do so many revere her? High Voltage, join us as we unravel the mystery of Hecate, her power, her darkness, and why she remains one of the most captivating deities in history. Hecate, goddess of the dead, spirits, and ghosts. Hecate, a powerful and enigmatic deity in Greek mythology, is widely associated with the underworld, the dead, spirits, and ghosts. As a liminal goddess, she exists between realms, guiding souls and wandering places linked to restless spirits, such as cemeteries and crossroads. Her influence extends across various aspects of the supernatural, cementing her as a crucial figure in ancient beliefs about death and the afterlife. Hecate's origins and role in Greek mythology. Hecate's origins are somewhat ambiguous. Some sources suggest she was a pre-Olympian deity, possibly originating from Thrace or Anatolia, while others describe her as a Titaness, the daughter of Perses and Asteria. Despite the rise of the Olympian gods, Hecate retained her power and domain, particularly in magic, witchcraft, and the underworld. The Theogony by Hesiod portrays Hecate as a favored deity who receives honors from Zeus. Unlike many other deities associated with the Titans, Hecate was not overthrown by the Olympians. Instead, she retained her dominion over heaven, earth, and the underworld. This triple aspect aligns her with the three realms of existence and reinforces her connection to the dead and spirits. Hecate and the dead. Hecate's connection with the dead is deeply rooted in mythology and ancient beliefs. She was often depicted as a guardian of the underworld and a guide for souls transitioning between life and death. Unlike Hades, who ruled the underworld, Hecate had a more fluid role, moving between the mortal world and the realm of the dead. In many traditions, Hecate is viewed as a psychopomp, a guide for souls. She assists those who have died unjustly or violently, ensuring their spirits find peace. This role also places her in opposition to beings who sought to disturb the natural order, such as necromancers or restless ghosts. Hecate and ghosts. Ghosts and spirits were believed to be under Hecate's influence, and she often acted as their protector or controller. Many myths describe her as leading ghostly processions, especially during the dead of night. The restless spirits of the unburied or those who suffered tragic fates were said to follow her, seeking her aid or enacting their unfinished business through her guidance. One of the most famous myths linking Hecate to ghosts involves the Erinyes, Furies, spirits of vengeance. Hecate worked alongside them to punish the wicked, ensuring that justice was served both in life and death. This further reinforces her role as an arbiter of balance in the supernatural realm. Hecate's presence in cemeteries and crossroads. Hecate's connection to cemeteries and crossroads is one of her defining attributes. In the ancient world, both places were seen as liminal spaces, boundaries between the living and the dead. People believed that spirits lingered in these areas, unable to move on, and Hecate was thought to roam them as a guardian and guide. Cemeteries. Hecate was often honored in cemeteries, where offerings were left at her shrines to appease wandering spirits. She was invoked to protect the living from malevolent ghosts and to ensure the dead were at peace. Funeral rites sometimes included rituals dedicated to her, asking for safe passage for the deceased into the afterlife. Crossroads. Crossroads held special significance in ancient Greece, often associated with mystery and danger. They were believed to be meeting points for spirits, and it was said that Hecate could be found at these junctures, accompanied by spectral hounds and the howls of restless souls. Offerings known as Hecate's suppers were left at crossroads during the new moon to appease her and wandering spirits. These meals included foods such as eggs, fish, and honey, left at night to disappear by dawn, either taken by the goddess or by those in need. Hecate's symbols and sacred animals. Hecate is often depicted carrying torches, symbolizing her role as a guide in the darkness. These torches were believed to light the way for lost souls, ensuring they reached their proper destination in the afterlife. She is also frequently shown with keys, which signify her power over gateways, including those between life and death. Her sacred animals further emphasize her connection to the supernatural. Dogs, particularly black ones, were associated with her and were said to accompany her during her nocturnal wanderings. Some myths suggest that the howling of dogs at night indicated Hecate's presence or the nearness of spirits. Other animals linked to her include owls and serpents, both symbols of wisdom and transformation. Hecate in magic and necromancy. Hecate's association with magic, witchcraft, and necromancy solidifies her role as a powerful intermediary between the living and the dead. She was often invoked in spells, particularly those involving communication with spirits. Ancient witches, such as those in the Odyssey or the Argonautica, called upon Hecate to aid them in their rituals. Necromancy, the practice of summoning and speaking with the dead, was closely tied to Hecate. Practitioners sought her favor when attempting to commune with spirits, seeking knowledge, vengeance, or protection. Many ancient texts describe rituals dedicated to her, where sacrifices and invocations were performed under the cover of night. Hecate's influence in later traditions. Even beyond ancient Greece, Hecate's presence endured in later folklore and occult traditions. The Romans adopted and venerated her, often linking her with the goddess Trivia, named after the three-way crossroads where she was honored. In medieval and modern witchcraft, Hecate remains a key figure, symbolizing wisdom, transformation, and the mysteries of the spirit world. Her influence extends into literature, art, and contemporary pagan practices, where she continues to be invoked as a goddess of magic and the dead. Many modern practitioners honor Hecate through rituals, recognizing her as a guardian of spirits and a guide through the unknown. Hecate, the guardian of the marginalized. Despite her dark associations, Hecate was a powerful protector of those in need, especially women, the marginalized, and outcasts. In ancient mythology, Hecate is often depicted as a mysterious and enigmatic figure, closely linked with magic, ghosts, and the underworld. However, her role extended far beyond her darker aspects. As a goddess of liminal spaces and transitions, she served as a guardian of those who found themselves on the fringes of society. This essay explores Hecate's role as a protector of women, the marginalized, and outcasts, shedding light on her significance in both ancient and modern contexts. Hecate's origins and associations. Hecate's origins can be traced back to the pre-Greek civilizations of Anatolia and Thrace, where she was worshipped as a mother goddess with powers over fertility and protection. When she was later incorporated into the Greek pantheon, her attributes expanded, and she became associated with the night, the moon, and the underworld. However, unlike purely chthonic deities such as Hades, Hecate retained a connection to the world above, serving as a bridge between the mortal and the divine. Hecate's primary symbols, torches, keys, and crossroads, highlight her role as a guide and protector. The torches represent her ability to illuminate the darkness, providing guidance to those lost or in transition. The keys signify her power to unlock hidden knowledge and opportunities, aiding those who seek refuge or change. Crossroads, a frequent setting for her worship, symbolize her dominion over choices and the unknown, marking her as a deity of transformation and protection. Hecate as a protector of women. Throughout history, Hecate has been a guardian of women, particularly those who face depression or misfortune. In ancient Greece, childbirth was a perilous ordeal, and women often turned to divine figures for protection. Hecate, alongside Artemis, was invoked during childbirth, ensuring the safety of both mother and child. Midwives and healers revered her, as she was believed to possess knowledge of herbal medicine and protective magic. Furthermore, Hecate was a deity of female autonomy and empowerment. Unlike many goddesses who were defined by their relationships with male gods, Hecate was independent and self-sufficient. This aspect made her particularly appealing to women who sought strength beyond traditional roles. As a goddess of witchcraft, she was revered by priestesses and wise women who practiced healing and divination, often facing persecution for their skills. Hecate and the marginalized. Hecate's domain extended to all those who lived on the fringes of society: slaves, refugees, the poor, and the disenfranchised. In the rigidly hierarchical society of ancient Greece, these individuals often had little recourse to justice or protection. Hecate, however, was believed to watch over them, offering guidance and aid in times of need. Her association with liminal spaces, doorways, crossroads, and the threshold between life and death, made her a natural protector of those who existed in a state of transition or uncertainty. Travelers, exiles, and those who had been cast out of their communities often invoked her name for safe passage and shelter. She was also connected with ghosts and spirits, particularly those who had died unjustly or without proper burial. This connection further emphasized her role as an advocate for the overlooked and the forgotten. Hecate and the outcasts. Hecate's link to witchcraft and magic further strengthened her connection to outcasts. Those accused of practicing sorcery, particularly women, often found solace in her worship. In many cultures, those who possessed knowledge of the supernatural were feared and ostracized, yet Hecate's devotees viewed her as a source of wisdom and strength. In myth, Hecate is often depicted aiding those who have been wronged or cast aside. One of her most well-known roles is in the story of Persephone's abduction by Hades. While the other gods remained silent, Hecate took an active role in helping Demeter search for her daughter, lighting the way with her torches. This act positioned her as a goddess of empathy and justice, willing to intervene when others would not. Hecate's legacy in modern times. Hecate's legacy as a protector of the marginalized endures in contemporary spiritual practices. Many modern witches and practitioners of neopaganism revere her as a patron of social justice, standing with those who are oppressed or ignored by mainstream society. Her symbolism continues to inspire movements that seek to empower women, defend the rights of the marginalized, and uplift those who have been cast aside. Additionally, Hecate's connection to crossroads remains relevant in a metaphorical sense. In times of personal crisis or societal upheaval, individuals often find themselves at a crossroads, uncertain of which path to take. As a goddess of transitions, Hecate offers guidance to those navigating difficult choices, embodying resilience and transformation. Though often associated with darkness and mystery, Hecate's role as a powerful protector of those in need cannot be overlooked. She served as a guardian of women, a defender of the marginalized, and a guide for those at society's edges. Her enduring presence in mythology and modern spirituality speaks to her timeless appeal as a deity of empowerment, justice, and transformation. In a world that continues to struggle with issues of inequality and exclusion, Hecate's legacy remains as relevant as ever, offering light to those who walk in the shadows. Origins and mythological background. Hecate's origins are deeply rooted in ancient mythology, and her worship predates the classical Greek era. She is believed to have originated from Thrace or Anatolia, where she was worshipped as a powerful deity associated with the underworld and protective magic. Later, in Hesiod's Theogony, Hecate is described as the daughter of the Titans Perses and Asteria, making her part of the pre-Olympian divine order. Unlike many other Titans who lost their influence after Zeus came to power, Hecate retained her authority and was honored by the king of the gods himself. She was unique among the Greek deities because she ruled over the three realms, the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. This connection made her an exceptionally versatile goddess, one who could bridge the mortal and supernatural worlds. This liminality, or existence between boundaries, made her especially revered by witches and sorcerers who sought to navigate the unseen forces of magic. Hecate and witchcraft. Witches and sorcerers revered Hecate as their divine patron because she was intimately tied to all aspects of magic. Her dominion over spells, divination, and herbal magic made her an essential figure in occult traditions. Spells and ritual magic. Hecate was often invoked in spells and magical workings, particularly those dealing with protection, banishment, and the invocation of spirits. Ancient witches called upon her in rites that required power beyond human capability. In the Greek magical papyri, a collection of ancient spellbooks, Hecate's name appears frequently in invocations, revealing her widespread worship among magical practitioners. She was also associated with binding spells, which were used to control or restrict the actions of others. These spells, sometimes inscribed on lead tablets and buried at crossroads, sought her favor in influencing fate. Hecate's connection to such practices reinforced her status as a goddess of sorcery and supernatural power. Divination and prophecy. Hecate was known as a goddess of the unseen and the mysterious, making her a crucial figure in divination. Those who sought knowledge of the future or insight into the unknown often turned to her. She was thought to grant visions, dreams, and omens to those who honored her properly. Many ancient oracles were believed to have invoked Hecate in their prophecies. She was also connected to necromancy, the practice of communicating with the dead for knowledge and guidance. The idea that she could traverse the underworld and interact with spirits made her a powerful intermediary between the living and the dead. Herbal magic and healing. Herbalists and practitioners of green witchcraft also revered Hecate for her knowledge of plants and their magical properties. Many herbs associated with her, such as aconite, wolfsbane, hemlock, and yew, were believed to have potent magical and medicinal effects. These plants, while often poisonous, were used in spells and potions intended to bring about transformation, protection, or even harm to enemies. Some traditions depict Hecate as a goddess who imparts knowledge of herbal medicine to her followers. This role aligns her with the figure of Medea, a legendary sorceress and priestess of Hecate, who was skilled in herbal magic and potions. Hecate's symbols and sacred animals. Hecate's powerful influence in magical traditions is reflected in her symbols and sacred animals. These attributes were often used by witches and sorcerers in their rituals and spells. The torch. Hecate was often depicted holding torches, which symbolized her role as a guide through darkness, both literal and metaphorical. Witches invoked her light to reveal hidden truths and illuminate the path of magical practice. The keys represented her ability to unlock the mysteries of the universe and access different realms, including the underworld. Many witches carried keys as symbols of their devotion to her. The dagger, a ritual blade, often linked to Hecate, was used in magical ceremonies for cutting energetic ties, drawing protective circles, or making offerings. Dogs. Hecate was frequently accompanied by black dogs, which were considered sacred to her. Dogs were believed to be able to see spirits and served as guardians against malevolent forces. In some traditions, a howling dog at night was said to be an omen of her presence. Snakes, often depicted with snakes, Hecate symbolized transformation, rebirth, and knowledge. Snakes were associated with the chthonic, underworld, power she controlled. Hecate's role in modern witchcraft. Even today, modern witches continue to honor Hecate as a central figure in their practices. She is revered in Wicca, Neopaganism, and various forms of traditional witchcraft. Many contemporary practitioners invoke her in rituals for protection, wisdom, and guidance in magical workings. Her association with crossroads remains a significant element in modern magic. Witches seeking her aid often perform rituals at crossroads, leaving offerings such as honey, eggs, garlic, and wine. These gifts, known as Hecate's supper, are meant to appease the goddess and seek her favor. Additionally, Hecate has become a symbol of empowerment for those who embrace the mysteries of the occult. Her ability to traverse realms and command supernatural forces makes her an enduring and respected deity among modern practitioners. Witches and sorcerers saw Hecate as their divine patron because she embodied the essence of magic itself. Her dominion over spells, divination, and herbal magic made her an essential figure in the mystical traditions of the past and present. From the ancient Greek world to modern witchcraft, her influence remains undeniable. As a goddess of liminality, she continues to guide those who seek her wisdom at the crossroads of magic and mystery. Crossroads and the supernatural, the realm of Hecate. Crossroads have long been considered liminal spaces, places where different realms intersect, creating potent supernatural energy. In various cultures, these locations were believed to be sites of transition between the physical and spiritual worlds, making them both sacred and ominous. One of the most well-known figures associated with crossroads is Hecate, the ancient Greek goddess of magic, witchcraft, ghosts, and the night. She was often depicted as a triple-formed deity, embodying the past, present, and future, as well as the connection between the underworld, the heavens, and the mortal realm. Crossroads as liminal spaces. The idea of crossroads as liminal spaces stems from the belief that they exist between boundaries, neither fully belonging to one realm nor another. In many traditions, including those of ancient Greece, Rome, and medieval Europe, crossroads were places where spirits roamed, where the veil between the world of the living and the dead was thinnest. This made them prime locations for supernatural encounters, divination, and magical rites. Crossroads were also considered dangerous, as they were thought to be haunted by restless spirits, demons, and supernatural entities. Hecate, guardian of the crossroads. Hecate's association with crossroads is deeply rooted in ancient mythology. She was believed to stand at these intersections, guiding souls and protecting travelers. Her triple aspect, often represented in statues placed at crossroads, symbolized her ability to see in multiple directions, ensuring safe passage for those who honored her. These statues, known as Hecate, were common in ancient Greece and were often placed at city gates, doorways, and crossroads to invoke her protection. Hecate was not only a guardian but also a mediator between realms. As a chthonic deity, she had connections to the underworld, where she played a crucial role in mythological narratives such as the abduction of Persephone. She was said to wield torches to light the way through darkness, offering guidance to lost souls and those seeking supernatural insight. Offerings to Hecate at the crossroads. To appease Hecate and gain her favor, people would leave offerings at crossroads, especially on nights of the dark moon. These offerings, known as Hecate's suppers, typically consisted of food items such as eggs, garlic, fish, honey, and cakes. The purpose of these offerings was to honor the goddess and seek her protection against misfortune, spirits, and malevolent forces. It was believed that failing to acknowledge Hecate at the crossroads could result in bad luck, hauntings, or other supernatural consequences. Rituals dedicated to Hecate often took place in secrecy and under the cover of darkness. Practitioners would leave their offerings without looking back, as turning around could invite spirits to follow them home. This act of reverence reinforced the mystical power of Hecate and the belief that crossroads were not only meeting places of different paths but also junctions where human fate could be influenced by divine forces. Crossroads in folklore and witchcraft. Beyond Greek mythology, crossroads have played a significant role in various folklore and magical traditions. In medieval Europe, they were seen as places where witches gathered to perform spells, summon spirits, and conduct rituals. Execution sites were sometimes chosen at crossroads, with criminals being buried there to prevent their spirits from returning to the living world. Similarly, in hoodoo and other folk magic traditions, crossroads were believed to be places of power where one could make pacts with spirits or gain supernatural abilities. Hecate's connection to the crossroads extends into modern witchcraft practices. Many contemporary pagans and witches continue to honor her at crossroads, leaving offerings and performing rituals to seek her wisdom and guidance. Her role as a goddess of liminality ensures that she remains a powerful figure for those who navigate between the known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen. Crossroads have always been places of mystery, transformation, and supernatural significance. In ancient Greece, they were revered as sacred sites where Hecate's presence was strongest. By leaving offerings to Hecate at night, people sought her protection, guidance, and favor, while also acknowledging the power that crossroads held as gateways between worlds. This tradition, rooted in ancient belief, continues to inspire spiritual practices today, highlighting the enduring influence of Hecate as a goddess of the liminal and the unseen. Hecate's power endures, feared by some, cherished by many. From the crossroads to the underworld, she remains a guide, a guardian, and a goddess of immense mystery. Fire, but what do you think? Is Hecate a force of darkness, wisdom, or both? Let us know in the comments. High Voltage. If you enjoyed this dive into mythology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our next journey into the unknown.